Welcome back. I am Collins Trott, Child Development Faculty on the Wallace Community College Dothan campus. In this episode, we are going to be learning about using observation methods, tools, and techniques to gather evidence. Observing children as they play, learn, and socialize with others is an integral part of every early educator's daily routine. When early caregivers and preschool teachers regularly observe and document brief, subtle moments of children's learning through play, those records help parents and others understand how useful and important play is in helping children learn to grow. In this episode, we will focus on the following objectives. Summarize the importance of gathering baseline data, describe various observation methods used in the early childhood environment, and explain the use of technology as an observation tool. Although teachers may favor one method over the other, it is recommended that teachers utilize several methods, tools, and techniques so that they can gather a well-rounded perspective of each child. To truly understand the whole child, it is important to realize that observation and documentation is an ongoing process that begins with gathering baseline data. So join me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about using observation methods, tools, and techniques to gather evidence. In order to truly measure the learning, growth, and development of a child over time, there needs to be a point of reference or a starting point. Baseline data provides a starting point. With each observation, the goal is to track what the child can do. Then, as we review each observation, we further consider what the child has the potential to do. Knowing specific details about how the child responds to the activities we have planned and how the child is interacting with their peers allows intentional teachers to make informed decisions that are in the best interest of the child. Baseline data allows us to create individualized activities and enrich learning opportunities and set up engaging environments where each child can feel empowered, challenged, and well cared for. Many of the same tools and techniques you've used to gather the baseline data, you will continue to use to support the whole child. This includes screening, planning curriculum, and assessing development. Every observation you complete provides valuable information that you can use to be more intentional and more responsive. No single observation can give you all the information you will need about a child's development. In order to truly understand a child's unique attributes, preferences, personalities, and strengths, you must observe them consistently using several documentation tools and techniques. Each observation method has strengths and limitations. We will review some of the more commonly used techniques and tools that teachers use to gather objective observation evidence, such as running records, checklists, frequency counts, anecdotal records, and work samples. Running records are considered by some as an informal method of observation because evidence is gathered in a more spontaneous or informal manner as it occurs. The primary goal for using a running record is to obtain a detailed objective account of behavior without interference, interpretations, or evaluations. The goal with a running record is to write down everything you see and hear exactly as it occurs, without adding any comments or attaching any opinions. Be as descriptive as possible and yet as concise as possible. When conducting a running record, you need to be out of ratio. You are to step back and observe from a distance. Do not interfere with a child's natural play, do not ask questions, and do not run after them. Be as invisible as possible. As you collect rich, detailed data throughout the school year, you will begin to recognize patterns of development, and you will see each child's unique attributes, personalities, and abilities as they emerge. When it comes time to assess a child's development, you will be able to look back and review all the evidence that you have collected and to monitor the child's progress over time. A frequency count is an informal observation method that is used to gather information about a child's interests, social interactions, play patterns, and temperamental traits. As the teacher observes the children at play, a tally mark is made every time the noted behavior or action occurs within a set time frame. To create a frequency count, you must first decide on what social interactions, behaviors, interest areas, or types of play you want to monitor. As you observe your child, you will make a tally mark every time they play in a specified area or display one of the action items as listed on your frequency count. After you have collected all the data for the time frame, count the tally marks. As you consider the collected data over time, reflect on a plan of action that you might use to further support that child's development. Checklists are an efficient and practical way to collect information about a child's development. Checklists are based on developmental norms as determined by developmental theorists. With each age range, there are certain expectations and skills that a child should be able to achieve. Checklists are designed to track a child's competencies in all the developmental domains, including physical, cognitive, language, social, and emotional. Checklists can be used to track a large group of children or an individual child. Design your own checklist or download one, but use it frequently in observations. It is vital that you note the dates that you observe the skills being mastered. A check mark alone will limit the reliability and validity. Schedule a day and time to regularly review your observation data. Data collected from other observations, mastered milestones, and developmental skill sets can be added to the checklist so you can clearly see a child's progress over time. An anecdotal record is an informal observation method often used by teachers as an aid to understand the child's personality or behavior. It provides a running account of behavior that is either typical or unusual for the child. Anecdotal records are direct observations of a child that offer a window of opportunity to see a child's actions, interactions, and reactions to people and events. To gather effective observation evidence, you need to include the following components: accurate and specific details of the event, vivid descriptions exactly as you see and hear them happening. Do not summarize, assume, or make judgments. The context, setting, and situations that surrounds the event, the where, when, who, what, and how, objective facts about the child's behavior and interactions, report actions and conversations, and write records in the past tense. Once you have completed the anecdotal records, you will take a moment to interpret the data. You will look for patterns and you will note whether the data reflects typical or unusual behavior for that child. To measure child's developmental progress, you will look for their strengths and their needs. The notes you take can help you generate developmentally appropriate lessons, plan activities, and interactions. A work sample is a tangible piece of evidence that showcases a child's efforts, progress, and achievements. Work samples are authentic artifacts that provide information about the child's learning experience. Work samples can be gathered throughout the school year. Typically, you will collect a variety of samples that highlight the child's overall development in each of the developmental areas. When you collect a work sample, you must add documentation. Not only will documentation help families recognize the value of play, it reinforces the concept that every activity is an opportunity to learn. Work samples should be organized in chronological manner to showcase progress over time. Be sure to store work samples in a safe place like a file folder or portfolio, or electronically in a computer file. Finding ways to utilize technology into regular routines can make collecting observation evidence much more efficient for busy teachers. Photographs, videos, and audio recordings can authentically capture children's explorations, investigations, play, and learning experiences in the actual moment. There are numerous ways to incorporate technology into your classroom. It is important to keep in mind that each early care and education program would have their own protocol, policies, and procedures regarding the use of technology to document children's learning, growth, and development, so be sure to verify what you can and cannot do. Observation data can be conveniently stored on a computer, and each child can have their own digital portfolio or file folder. For every child, you would include photos of them at play, photos of their work samples, and any audio recordings or video clips that you may have collected. Now let's review what we've learned. An intentional teacher is a skilled and thoughtful observer. With each observation, whether a running record, anecdotal note, video recording, checklist, frequency count, or work sample, they are watching and listening and considering, what do I know about this child and how can I best support this child? As teachers gather and organize their observation data, they begin to see each child for who they are as an individual and as a member of the classroom community. With that information, intentional teachers can set realistic expectations of what children can do. Ideally, teachers will utilize the documented data to develop developmentally appropriate activities and create interesting and stimulating learning environments that are designed to promote play, socialization, growth, and development. That wraps us up for this episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me or your instructor. Thanks for joining me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about using observation methods, tools, and techniques to gather evidence. See you next time.